Hypnotic, directed by Robert Rodriguez and starring Ben Affleck, is a film made for science fiction fans. I've got some things to say about this film, and I want you to stick around to the end because that's where I'm going to put a piece of information that you need to know, but could be considered a spoiler. I'll try to keep this as spoiler free as possible until the end. Be sure to hit the subscribe button. Let me know you're here. Okay, so when I review, I can forgive a lot of rough edges in science fiction and fantasy because much of it just isn't real and it isn't possible. So you need to, in the words of William Wordsworth, suspend your disbelief. So I do, as long as what I'm presented with in the film fits into the story world presented. However, when you bring me a classic science fiction film that is hardcore on the what if principle that inspired storytellers like Isaac Asimov, Mary Shelley, Ray Bradbury, Octavia Butler, William Gibson, and others, you better have your ducks in a row or fandom will eat you alive at the box office. So, this perspective is where I'm coming from with this review. There were some real marketing problems with this film. I didn't even know it existed until a couple days ago. Worse, I didn't really understand what it was about until I saw it. And the layered complexity of the film that I saw wasn't really present in the promotional description available. Frankly, an audience that was not expecting this film is not going to get the film, and they are certainly not going to like it. However, I loved it. If you enjoy savvy, thought-provoking science fiction that really makes you think and has levels of meaning and layers of Easter eggs and clues to uncover, and always seems to have a surprise up its sleeve, I think you are going to love it too. I actually think it's one of the best new classic science fiction films that I have seen in a really, really long time. It's not for the faint of heart. It won't make sense to you if you aren't actively watching it and thinking about what you are seeing, because it is a puzzle within a puzzle within a puzzle. In short, it is a mind-bending psychological thriller that is exactly the kind of film that a hardcore science fiction fan loves, but rarely gets. And right now, most of them don't even know it exists. The film focuses on Ben Affleck's character, Danny Rourke, a police officer who is reeling from the abduction of his daughter. And as more and more clues of her abduction surface, he realizes that the world is a lot bigger and a lot more complex than he ever imagined. And that reality and perception can be changed with a single word. From there, the chase is on to find his daughter and to survive against a foe who seems to outsmart him at every turn simply by changing the rules of the game. And that foe is played by William Fichtner, who is spot on, perfect for this role. He really leveled up the creepy psychological feel of the film. Early in the film, we get some exposition about hypnotics, what they are, how they work. These short little data dumps give viewers useful information for context. Not every audience member needs this information, but it's there to set the story rules for the world. It's really not a big deal, and it frees up your mind to really focus on the story and the Easter eggs without having to puzzle out the rules of how a hypnotic operates. But these telling moments are far outnumbered by the showing moments throughout the film that kind of reference back to these little info dumps to help the audience make faster connections to what's happening on screen so they can keep up with the speed of the story. There are some things about the film that might be a little too clever, and I think this might be Hypnotic's greatest failure. However, I would much rather have a clever film where you are forced to puzzle out the meaning of things or really think about the logic of how a thing is possible, rather than having it all explained to you in giant info dumps or not explained at all. If they would have added any more info dumps, the film would have felt really dumbed down. Instead, the way the film is constructed tests everything you think you know about the film, and then they change it. There are so many Easter eggs that even if you think you caught them all, you didn't. Even after you leave the theater, your mind will be crunching the clues and piecing together the new layers of the story. You'll have these little aha moments as you put together some of those mind-bending scenes. Even better, the more you think about the film, the more you understand some of the filming choices that were chosen, such as the jump cuts in which things just happen that didn't seem to make sense in the moment. But if you think about it after the film ends, they make perfect sense. As it all kind of sets into your mind hours later, the layers of the puzzle start clicking into place in such fun ways. This is one of those films that you really should see with friends because you will want to talk about it afterwards. I want to talk about it, but I literally know nobody who's seen the film. And I know tons of science fiction fans. I cannot understand why film companies pour all this money into a film, dump it into the market, and then do almost no promotion for it. Anyway, this is classic science fiction storytelling, and Robert Rodriguez gets it right. From top to tail, he nails it. There are definite nods to films like Inception with some of the visual world bending, but I'd also like to mention the nods to other films like Dark City, Edge of Tomorrow, and Starship Troopers, in its ability to bend your brain and make you question everything you think you know about what you are seeing. There's a part of me that thinks Rodriguez and his co-writer Max Borenstein might have taken a page out of the Memento script book by writing this script backwards and then forwards to make sure the puzzle works. And let me tell you, it does. Now, for the bit I told you to stick around for, the film was good right up to the credits. I thought it was a solid speculative story. I really enjoyed it, but it didn't really level up to jump to that next level for me until the theater emptied out. So for me and like a couple stragglers were gathering up their things, I was literally at the theater door when the credits stopped and showed a short scene. Then they started up again, and then they stopped and finished the scene. It was so clever, maybe a little too clever since everybody else had left, but the end credits scene nailed this movie for me. The fact that I couldn't trust the ending to be the end was just another layer of the puzzle, and I loved it. It was sheer brilliance, and it kept me thinking about the film long after I left the theater. Okay, that was a long one. Thanks for sticking around. And remember to hit the subscribe button. Go see this film. Please go see this film. Even if you watch it on streaming later, then come back here and let me know what you thought. I really want to talk to somebody about this film. So please let me know what you thought. All right. Thanks, everybody. That's all I have for you today. I'll see you around.